Hello, my friends. I don't know if I can record today. Having a challenging day physically, but I'm going to give it a go. Let's see. This is a journal from today, 4/23/2010, the first one, and the Mayan calendar day is 6 deer or hand. It has two titles: Bad Symptoms as Good News, or Entities and Critters. Being ill, or rather having a body that's ill, is such a challenge. My body's latest trick is to feel about twice as heavy as it is, thus making lugging it around more of an effort. It's funny the way it is said that youth is wasted on the young, but at least I better understand it now. It's just that they take for granted what others might give their eye teeth for. Not I, however. Thank God I have strong awareness that I am not the body. Human being has two parts, human and being. To me, human is the body, and being is what I am. This is most helpful in so many ways. Like now, when so many others, if they were wearing this body labeled Theresa-Ann, would perhaps be sad or tempted to depression over the current state of it, how it feels. That is just lack of pure vision, however, and the tendency to identify with the mind and its pronouncements, its beliefs. How is that? Well, first off, everything that is, barring nothing, is a blessing. Either it is a blessing outright or a blessing in disguise, but there exists nothing else but blessings. Some, even many, will believe this is foolishness or nonsense, but I challenge that. It is pure seeing. Do not shoot it down without at least giving it a shot, without at least considering the possibility. So then, back to the heaviness this body is experiencing. What's with that? The reality is that this is a sign of good health returning. This body is, even now, casting off massive layers and levels of invading non-native substances, energies, and life forms. And that is slowing it down a bit, one could say. It's starting to rain. It's so beautiful. Tornadoes are predicted today. We'll see. Only yesterday, I worked with my medical intuitive. Let's call him Lawrence for now, until I get his permission to use his real name if he gives it. At any rate, Lawrence is both intuitive and healer. After our discussion in his most recent distance treatment, he said that this body I wear has actually begun to turn the corner. It is now going from being in ill health to returning to good health. I can tell you, this was joyous news to receive. It by no means means that the challenges are over or the victory won yet over ill health. It is an important turning point, though, and considering how I've shared before the darker news, I am glad to now share this. Lawrence has upped my health regimen to include a number of things for which I'm grateful. It just amazes me, though, that the things he says he sees leaving my form could still even be present in it, considering that regimen, the combination of his recommendations and what I've been doing. He sees bacteria, parasites, fungi, no-see-ums galore, along with all the life forms, or what he calls critters, that these support. And I just lost my place. So excuse me a moment. All leaving in droves. Then, too, in addition to the small energy critters, There are always actual entities attached to any form of disease or ill health. Whatever we see in the physical dimension has its energetic component as well. Though body's eyes don't currently detect these creatures, these life forms, that doesn't mean they don't exist. Take that, ye gods of science! You're the loser to not see this. Our forebears were much wiser about these sorts of things. They, not worshiping at the altar of science as we do, not so highly revering what the scientist priests present as truth, were able to simply detect and deal directly with these energetic forms. They too were also a natural part of life lived in imperfect and unhelpful ways. A simple natural consequence, no big bad boogeyman. Now, however, our scientist priests tell us there is no such thing as consciousness because we cannot detect it with our sacred religious instruments, our microscopes and lasers and such. Thus, we are not to believe in it, nor investigate it on our own. They tell us we are not equipped to uncover or reveal the truth anyway. Only the priest scientists can do that. That must come only from them and their sacred rituals and services, that is, their experiments. They will reveal all truth to us in the sacred scriptures, the journals in which they publish. They explain that their ritual for validating sacred truth, the peer review process, is perfect and sacred, and that we must not go beyond what has been revealed this way. That is heresy. If there is any new truth to be discovered, they will discover and reveal it through the sacred accepted channels. Anything else is anathema. Excuse me. Guess I've gone off a bit there with my musings on the state of today's worship of science. It gets to me sometimes why people don't seem to see this when it's so obvious and even brazen to me. That's the thing, though, the power of perspectives and beliefs to control vision, what is seen. More than anything, though, it has to do with living in the mind, as the mind, and believing its thoughts. As Byron Katie says, no thought is true. I'll put a link to some of her stuff in the transcript. Eastern masters have been saying for such a long time that the truth cannot be spoken. The Tao which can be spoken is not the real Tao. We in the West are just rather slow at giving this sufficient credence to even consider it. Well, Byron Katie is an awakened Westerner and speaks in our language and thought forms. So we finally have someone more understandable to the Western mind to get this message through. I don't say from, but through, because no one has or owns truth. It comes through us, not from us. All are joint owners in potential. Like the sun shining on both just and unjust, it just is.